Welcome back, family. We're continuing our study in Matthew chapter 26 as the Messiah continues to show us his confirmation of the covenant with Israel, as he continues to show us how we receive perfect righteousness and eternal salvation. And we'll continue today at this point, this part of, and welcome back to the family here, this part of the study in Matthew 26, we're going to be talking about go time, when it's go time. And the thing is that, brethren, all of us in the awakening of the true Hebrews are being prepared. We're being prepared for the times that are now beginning and coming just ahead of us. It's class time now. We're okay until it's go time. When the seal is on, it's go time. Okay, and I as you know, I tell stories about my true life that you all can relate to, because I feel like all of us, and I really believe it, are in the same boat. At the end of the day, all of the Hebrews are in the same boat. Okay, those of us that are bloodline awakened and those that are grafted into the Hebrew family awakened, we're all in the same boat, brother, at the end of the day. So I remember when I first met my wife, and the voice I told you came to me and said, "This is her," and kept confirming to me, "This is her. Go forward. This is her." And the more, honestly, that the Father was showing me the sign that this was to be the woman he chose for me, the more nervous I got, and the more scared I got, and the more I prayed, because, this is the thing. And I want you sisters to understand from a different perspective. It's not always a man doesn't want to be with you just because you have a child. Sometimes we recognize we may not be good for that child. You have to understand that. Sometimes it's not just because, and I remember when my wife and I, once we decided, we're supposed to be together, that the Most High had convicted me and her. And then I started expressing my doubts. And she would say, I know I made a mistake. And I would say to her, it's not that you made a mistake. She would say, you're holding it against me that I have a child. And I said, no, it's not that. Because even then, I clearly understood that I had issues. And I was afraid. I was afraid of what would happen to the child. And the thing is that I knew it, but the Father's voice and the Father's spirit kept pressing me, go forward. Okay. And we got married in 1984. At the end of 1984 in the Gregorian calendar, we got married. And all during that year, and it was early that year, I would say probably February, that both of us realized we were supposed to get married. And all during that time, I was struggling badly with this decision. And so it was going through my mind that I know this is her. I know he showed me. He showed me many times. And I was praying. I mean, literally, I would be on my knees at my job. I'd take a break and go to the bathroom, close the door and pray. I would get home and pray. Before I left in the morning, I would pray. And it was always about, should I really be doing this? It was, and it wasn't like I had to force it. I was legit scared. But at the same time, I kept recounting that the Spirit, I asked the Father to show me. I asked him to pick her, and he did. And I felt like I didn't want to discard what he picked for me. Okay? Because I asked him and he picked. It was just hard. And I was afraid for the child because of me. I knew it, see? So, but it was probably, I want to say it was September of 1984. I went to a retreat in New York. They had a place called, it was upstate New York, They call it was a Victory Lake, and our church owned this or rented it. I don't know, but it was Victory Lake was where we would have all our retreats when we was in New York. And there was a retreat at Victory Lake, and it was there that I had finally settled and said, okay, I'm not turning back. From this point forward, it's go time. And so I made the decision, really, September, even though we had already decided, we were already starting to make, okay, we're going to get married. And my wife was making plans. We nervously, it was September of 1984. I said, okay, that's it. I ain't looking back now. That's it. It's go time. So that when the day came for the wedding, I remember it was a sunny day. It was cold, but it was sunny out in New York in December. When the day came, the pastor was like, "You're really calm. I've never seen groomed so calm. You're really relaxed." And I said, "No," because I had already, by the time September, months before, that decision was made, and I wasn't looking back. It was go time. You see, and so, brethren, all of us come to a point where there's a decision made on a conviction, and it's time to go and don't look back. It's time to move forward and don't look back. Okay. For example, we all know the story of Lot. Lot was told, leave Sodom. Like the angel pulled him and his wife out and his daughters and said, go, don't look back. Now she looked back. We know what happened. Okay. There's a time when it's go time. Especially, see, with Lot, he knew that he was among a bunch of sinners. He knew, the Bible says, Peter says that their conduct would mess with his spirit every day. And he knew that he was around a bunch of sinners. And so when the two angels came, he wasn't ready for it. He didn't know that they were coming. He wasn't ready for it. But it's different with us. For example, when the children of Israel were told about the Passover and about the death of the firstborn, and they were told, this night, this is what you're going to do on the 14th day of the month. You're going to get the 10th day of the month, I think it was. You're going to get a lamb. And on the 14th day of the month at even, you're going to kill the lamb. You're going to take the blood. You're going to put it over your doorpost and over the sides of your house doorpost and on the top of the doorpost. And you're going to you're going to be dressed. You're not going to take your clothes off. You're not going to take your shoes off. You're not going to have leaven in your bread. You're going to be ready to go. And then the time came. And it was go time. And they had to go. Right? And there was a lot of stress. The Egyptians changed their mind, came after them, and they wasn't coming to have tea and crumpets. And the Father led them to a place where they were trapped because he knew he was going to deliver them. He told them, and in fact, he literally said to Moses, why are you praying to me? It ain't time. He had told Moses, it ain't time to pray now. Go forward. Let's look at that. This is Exodus chapter 14, I believe it is. Let's take a look. Exodus chapter 14. Okay, yeah. So now they're coming. Now they're coming at you. They're coming at our fathers, right? So it's Exodus chapter 14. And let's see. Beginning at verse 9 and going down to verse 16. Now, prior to this, the Father had already told Moses that this was going to happen. Like this wasn't no surprise. Like they already knew exactly what was going to happen. He told them, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart. They're going to let you go tonight, but I'm going to harden his heart. They're going to come at you and I'm going to deliver you. He told them. But you see, brethren, that's why prophecy is what? It's him letting us know things that what must shortly come to pass. But even though he tells us, it's still going to be something else, right? It's still going to be something else. So everything that we're going to read, Moses was already told before. But watch. This is Exodus chapter 14 from verse 9 down to verse 16. But the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, and all his horsemen, and his army, and overtook them, encamping by the sea by Pahahiroth, and before Baal-zephon. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto Yahweh, and they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt with us to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. After all the miracles they saw, after the very night, that night, they saw the firstborn die, and the Egyptians giving them money, and everything that the Father said was going to come to pass, and they were delivered from the destroying angel. They still came out their face like this. See, brethren, this is going to be the difference between them and us. This is the difference between them and us. This ain't coming out of our face. That's why we're being prepared now. Okay, just like them, we know what's coming. We know what happens next. But by the power of the Father's Spirit living in us, we'll be ready. That's right. Verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of Yahweh, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them no more forever. And Yahweh shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And Yahweh said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. Go time. It ain't pray time. It's go time. Okay? But lift thou up thy rod and stretch out thy hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground in the midst of the sea. There comes a point where it's go time. So, for example, the Messiah, again, this is the one. This is one example. Let me turn off my phone. This is one example. Another example, of course, is when the apostles were told from the Messiah, tarry at Jerusalem until you be endowed with power from on high. Okay? And then 10 days later, the power came. And it was time for them to do, and he said, you shall be witnesses unto me in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and to the uttermost parts of the earth. Then it came, and it was time, and they went forth. And they had challenges, but they went forward, okay? They were prepared by the power of the early rain. We are being prepared by the power of the latter rain. Right now, and the third example is us here. This is Revelation chapter 18. Revelation chapter 18. Revelation 18 from 1 to 5. Look, when Daniel 11:44 says, tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy and utterly make away many. That is the message of Revelation 18 from the 144,000 and the response of the powers that be, the response of the Gentile kingdom, the response of Babylon to that message. He shall go forth with great fury to destroy and to utterly make away many. In other words, the message given with the power that of the latter rain upon us will cause serious, fierce rage and anger among our enemies. Just like the deliverance of our fathers from Egypt caused Pharaoh and the Egyptians to turn from fear to fierce anger and rage. against our fathers. And as they were delivered, obviously, so will we be delivered. And although all of these things are before us and we're being told when the proverbial rubber hits the road and it's go time, we're all going to feel it. But we must be strong and resolute when it's go time. In other words, we're down for whatever and we ain't looking back. Right? That's what we down for whatever and we ain't looking back. It's on at that point. Okay? And that's what we're being trained for now. So Revelation 18 is go time. And it shows you the whole deal. It shows you the latter rain and it shows you the message that will cause the problem that the Father has ordained for us to give, but will cause the problem. Okay? It's really starting now, but it's a quiet message now. That's why we're all here. But it's going to get loud. Revelation chapter 18, verses 1 to 5. After these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. That's the latter rain. That's it. Revelation 18:1 is the latter rain. See? After these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven. You guys know what Revelation 1:1 says. The revelation of Messiah Yahushua, which Father Yah gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant. So the message came from the Father. The Messiah sent that message with power to the angel, with the angel, and the angel brought it to John. Same thing is happening here. That is why Revelation 14 has 3 angels, because they're coming with a message. Ultimately, it's from the Father through the Messiah. You all understand what I'm saying? So when the Bible says message, shows you angels coming and messages being proclaimed, is being proclaimed through the servants. In this case, we know the servants are the 144,000. So now when it says here, I saw another angel come down from heaven having great power. This message is coming with a latter rain power. Okay. And that power and that message is going to be given to us. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven having great power. How powerful? Notice what it says. And the earth was lightened with his glory. This power is a message that will circle the earth, cover the entire planet. Every place will receive or will hear this message. I believe in part, honestly, that is why some of the Hebrews are leaving the United States. They're going to places like Africa, in different countries in Africa. They're going to Asia. They're going to the Philippines. They're going to Spanish places like South Central and Mexico, Mexico, Central America, South America. Why? Because when the power comes, they're going to bring it. Okay? When the power comes, they're going to bring it. The earth was lightened with his glory. And the awakening is happening, and it's going to happen worldwide. Okay? And again, we must understand the power is going to be like nothing the earth has ever seen. And it's not of us. It's going to appear to come from us, just like when Moses gave constructions to the children of Israel pointed at Moses. But Moses was just the vessel. The instructions was coming from the Father, right? The instruction was coming from the Father. The power was coming from the Father. Moses was just a vessel. Here again, Father to Messiah, from an angel to us. After these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. That's the latter rain. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, Babylon the great is fallen, is fallen, is become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So that is, this earth is finished. Your system is done. The rule of the Gentiles is over. Your time has been fulfilled. You've been weighed in the balances and found wanting. And with the power of the Father's Spirit behind that message, it will shake Babylon to the core. So they will be scared when they hear it. But then they will be angry. That's always the response. Fear followed by rage, especially among the unrepentant, right? Fear followed by rage. So they will be scared when they hear the message. Just like when the apostles gave the early rain, and the people that was there said, the Bible said they were cut to the heart. And they said, men and brethren, what shall we do? And Peter said, repent and be baptized in the name of the Messiah. Then the scribes and Pharisees, it says they were pricked in the heart and they went to kill Stephen, gnashing their teeth. See, so that's the response. There's a fear and then there's a rage. Okay. Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. This is the thing, brothers. So the purpose of this message is to call out from the religious system of Babylon, Yah's chosen people that still are in there. This is the call to the seventh church. This is the call to Laodicea. You're going to be spit out. If any man hear my voice, I will come to him and sup with him, and he with me, and answer my call. See, I knock the door. This is the knock. I stand at the door and knock. This is the 144,000 calling Laodicea. Come out before it's too late. Because the plagues are about to fall. And if you're still with them, you're going to catch them. See, we won't have any money. There won't be any bombs, planes, even gas. We won't have none of that. They'll take all that. We won't have none of that. And the Father designs it because we're dependent on him. We won't have no swords. But we will have power. Serious, serious power. So then it becomes go time. When we receive that power, it becomes go time. Okay? And we can't look back. At that point, all bets are off. We don't look back. It's all over. And we will all know. It's not like nobody will have to give you a pep talk. It will all happen. All we're doing right now is rehearsing what's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Put it that way. As sure as it's written, it's going to happen. Okay, it's going to happen. As what somebody said, as it is written, so it shall be done. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. So we're going to be prepared, and we're being prepared now for go time. Well, that brings me to Matthew chapter 26, because now Messiah decided it was go time. Okay, Matthew chapter 26. And let's start at verse 42. Matthew 26, beginning at verse 42. And he went away again the second time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. See, right there, that what he decided right there. Okay, it's go time. And then he follows it up. Watch. Verse 43. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same word. Then cometh he to the disciples and said unto them, sleep on now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doth betray me. It's go time. Okay, here he is. It's go time. And I've decided I'm going forward, and it's go time. Okay, what happens after this is only relevant in the sense that the angels mark it for later, for these people to get what they got coming, for doing what they did. But in the Messiah's heart and in his spirit, it was go time. He was going through now. Okay, he was going through. Okay, he was going through now. And he would have to, he's a lot to go through. Okay. All right. Verse 47. And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, the same is he. Hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Yahushua and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. Why did he have to point him out like that? Because they all looked similar. See a bunch of brothers hanging out. Which one is it? I'll point him out. It's the one I kissed, because he didn't look no different than the rest of them, right? So Judas had to point him out. And when the disciples saw Judas coming with the soldiers, they knew he was the traitor. They knew he was the traitor at that point. Verse 50. And Yahushua said to him, friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Yahushua and took him. Verse 51. And behold, one of them which were with Yahushua stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. Then said Yahushua unto him, put up thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? A Roman legion was 100 soldiers. He said, I can get 1,200 angels right now if I want them. But he had already decided. And look, notice what he said. All they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. That was for that time. What do I mean by that? That night was the spiritual battle of all battles. That night, Messiah was going to be left of the Father to become, his soul was become an offering for sin. There was not going to be any sword that could change that. There was not going to be any fight that could help that. See, he's not speaking against swords in general. Y'all got me? He's not speaking against swords in general, but right there, just like for us, when it's go time, my father's gap can't help me. My father's gap can't help me. My 44 Magnum, it's not gonna help me right there. Only the Spirit can help me there. Now, right now, if I'm at my house, I'm here in Trump country, and some of these fools come up with their MAGA hats and start marching on my yard, they're gonna have a problem. They're gonna have 44 problems. Okay, but when it's that time, when the latter rain comes on us, see, so like when Emmett Till uncle was sitting in his house in sleep, and Emmett Till 14-year-old was asleep, and they rolled up in front of the house, there'd have been some problems. Because what we know now, right? There'd have been some problems. They wouldn't have just come up and taken my nephew like that. Not at what we know now. Okay? There'd have been some problems. They'd have caught some 12 gauge problems. Okay, but that's then. When it's go time, it's go time. Okay, when it's go time, they ain't gonna help you. Because then we're dealing with a situation where, remember what the Father said in his word in Ezekiel, I'm gonna take your bow out your right hand, I'm gonna take your arrow, I'm gonna take your bow out your left hand and your arrow out your right hand. Because it's not gonna help them. It's much deeper than the physical battle, and it ain't gonna help you. Just like we're telling them then, don't worry about your sword, it's not gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna help you. So when we are, wherever we end up, wherever the Father has us, wherever part of the earth we're in, whatever town, city, woods, wherever we at, when it's go time and we give that message, there's no protection but the Father. Just like when our fathers left Egypt. Their swords wouldn't have helped them. They had swords. Later on, they would use it in different spots, but at that time, at that night, it wasn't going to help them. They had to trust in the Most High. See, man, trust in the Most High. Period. And that's what we're going to have. See, we're being prepared for that now. All right, we're being prepared for that. Praise the Most High. So that's when he said, all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. It ain't that time right now. He said, put that sword away. He didn't say never carry it. He said, put it back in the sheath. He said, what did he say? He said, put up again that sword into his place. This ain't the time for it. He said, if I wanted to, I don't need the sword. I could get 1,200 angels right now and deliver me. But it was go time. He had already decided he wasn't turning back. That's it. You got me? He had already decided he wasn't turning back. That's it. Again, the disciples were dealing with stuff, even though we all saw he was trying to tell them, but they weren't ready. They were still caught up in the game. They weren't ready. Now, after all this happened, after he was put to death and resurrected, and after he ascended and they received the early rain, all of these things would come back to them. And it'd be clear. Then they would learn. And it's the same with you and me. How many times you could look back now in your life and understand something you did not understand before? While you were going through it, while you were dealing with it, it was confusing. You're just like, what was going on here? Why is this happening? Why? What's going on? And then later you look back and realize, oh, that's why. Now I understand. Same with them. The stuff they was going through at that moment, they didn't understand. It was all happening in real time and they weren't ready. Okay. But they would look back and say, oh yeah, I remember he told me this. He showed us this. He taught us this. And it would all come back to him. That's right. Hindsight is 2020. That's right, Brother Kelly. It is. Okay. Verse 53. Oh no, 54. But how then, again, look at this now. But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled that thus it must be? See, to the Messiah at this point, it was the fulfillment of prophecy on the glory of the Father that mattered. Same with us. That is why, again, he is showing us what the prophecies mean. It's not just for us to be intelligent. It's for us to understand when it comes off what is happening. And that's what he said, to show unto his servants things that must shortly come to pass, so that we understand. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're still not going to understand everything until it comes off. See, just like the disciples, even though he was telling them, even though they read the scriptures, even though they were students, disciples, it all caught them off guard. Even though Moses was told ahead of time, he was still praying, Father, Father says, what you praying to me for? Go forward. It's time. It's go time, son. And that's what we're going to be dealing with, brethren. We're going to be dealing with the same thing. But it's still good to know as much as we know, right? To help us out. Praise the Most High. Okay. Verse 55. In that same hour, Yahushua said to the multitudes, ye come out as against a thief with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you teaching in the temple, and ye laid no hold on me. But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. And they that had laid hold on Yahushua led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. Okay, so the first betrayal was from Judas, a Hebrew, and from Judas, a Hebrew, to the religious leaders of the Hebrews. Same thing. Okay, we kind of know where we're headed, right? So there you go. First, we'll get Judas's from among us. Then they'll betray us to the religious leaders of today. Then The religious leaders of today will bring us to the government because the religion and government, Christian nationalism, is going to be one. Okay, you already can see how it's going to happen. So-called black people that what we thought was in the truth are going to turn on us and turn us over to religious leaders who will turn us over to the government and will be tried for treason, just like Messiah was tried for treason. What is treason? That is working for an enemy of the government, working for an enemy of the government. What was Messiah doing wrong? Because he talked about a kingdom of a God that wasn't Caesar. He talked about the coming of a kingdom of Yahweh that was going to overthrow the present system. That's treason. We're talking about all of the churches and the systems of Babylon are finished. Your time is fulfilled. That's hate speech. That's treason. Understand what the cost is, y'all. Understand what the cost is. Because what you're seeing our Messiah deal with, we're going to deal with. We'll be prepared by the Father's Spirit. But that's where we're headed. Okay? When you talk about a government that's not the present government, going to destroy this government, that's treason. When you talk about overthrowing all the religions and all the false systems, that's hate speech. Understand the cost. Okay? They all forsook him and fled. And when they had laid hold on Yahushua, led him away to Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and the elders and all the council sought false witness against Yahushua to put him to death. False witness. They're going to continue to do that. Don't be surprised, brethren. That's coming. But found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came 2 false witnesses. Then said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of Yahweh and build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? See, they had all of this blame and all of this finger pointing and act like he guilty, and they know he didn't do anything wrong. They were just scared because he was not following the game. He was not in the game. And they knew all that he had done. Healing the sick, raising the dead, casting out devils. They seen it. They knew it. But he was messing with their money. He was messing up their game. So he had to go. Okay. But Yahushua held his peace, and the high priest answered and said to him, I adjure thee by the living Most High that thou tell us whether thou be Messiah, the son of Yahweh. And Yahushua said unto them, thou hast said. Nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter ye shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, coming in the clouds of heaven. So you asked, right? All right, I'm going to tell you the truth. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, he hath spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Behold now, ye have heard his blasphemy. What think ye? They answered and said, he is guilty of death. Then did they spit in his face and buffeted him, and others smote him with palms of their hands, saying, prophesy unto us, thou Messiah. Who is he that smote thee? They thought they had him, huh? Okay, not realizing he allowed them to have him. He allowed them to beat on him. He allowed them to buffet him and spit in his face because he was king and is king. And he know what he got. Praise the Most High. Now Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, thou also wast with Yahushua of Galilee. But he denied before them all, saying, I know not what thou sayest. Why did he do that? Because Peter was a bad guy? No, because Peter was scared. He watching them roll. They was definitely rolling on Messiah. You watching them roll on him, beating him, man. Beating him. He watching them roll on him. The soldiers in the temple, beating on him. And it's violent. And he's scared. He's like, nah, I don't know nothing. I don't know him. I don't know nothing about him. He's scared. Okay? Fear, brethren. One of the first things that happened to Adam and Eve when the Father's voice came, what? They hid because what? They were scared. Peter was scared. Okay? And it was natural because he didn't understand everything that was happening. In his heart, though, he loved Messiah. Messiah knew that. Like he said, y'all gonna all dog me tonight. But I still got you. You still my fellas. I still got you. I'm still your cousin. I still got you. You're gonna all dog me. You're gonna let me get my behind whooped. You're gonna do it. You're gonna roll on me, and y'all gonna let it happen. And I'm gonna hang out with y'all in Galilee once I raise from the dead. We still fam. Okay, we still fam. So here, he's like, I don't know them. I don't know him. And when he was gone out into the porch, another maid saw him and said unto them that were there, this fellow also was with Yahushua of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while came unto him they that stood by and said to Peter, surely thou art one of them, for thy speech bewrayeth thee. Then began he to curse and swear, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew. And Peter remembered the word of Yahushua, which said unto him, before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. And he went out and wept bitterly because he loved the Messiah. See, the difference between him and Judas. Judas went out and hanged himself because his plan didn't work and he couldn't face the music. Peter's heart was crushed because he knew he had done to one he loved. He knew what he had done to one he loved, and he was just weeping, and he was in what? Repentant state. He was in a repentant state. There are people that kill themselves because they're in great pain. And, surely we can't blame a person that's in great pain, that kill themselves. Some people do that. Some people have a mental illness, and they can't help that, and they kill themselves. But then there are those that kill themselves because they're afraid to face the music, and they want to escape what they think they got coming. That's Judas. Then there are those that are repentant and understand, I messed up. Yep, I did. That's Peter. There's a difference. There are people that accept that they messed up and repent, and there are people that will never. Let me ask you a question. Have y'all ever heard Donald Trump say he made a mistake about anything? Have y'all ever heard him say, I might have messed up there? There you go. I'm not saying Kamala Harris is any better now, but I'm just telling you, I'm using him as an object lesson. That's the unrepentant sinner. That's the unrepentant sinner right there. He has never admitted that he ever made a mistake. He has never admitted that he might have messed up, that January 6th may not have been a good thing. He has never admitted that he ever made a bad choice. Except when he's trying to blame his own generals and his own cabinet members when they wake up and say, wait a minute, this guy ain't no good. He said, I might have made a bad choice picking him because they're garbage. But yeah. Yep. There you go, brother. There you go. So yeah, that was chapter 26. So you can see the difference, obviously, between a repentant sinner and an unrepentant sinner and their actions. And sometimes there are things that are in the spirit that's way over our head. And brethren, it's coming like that we are being given all kind of information. We're being given everything in advance. That's what prophecy is. The Father is showing us everything in advance, but it's still going to shock us when it happens because of how amazingly shocking it will be, just like it did to the apostles there, just like it did to our fathers coming out of Mizraim or Egypt. It was shocking, even though they were all told when we're being told. But the thing is, once it's go time, Once we are sealed in that spirit, just like the apostles answered the scribes and Pharisees that threatened them with death. They said, we cannot help but speak the things that we have seen and heard. That's where we'll be at. We can help but speak the things that we have seen and heard. And that's where we're going to be. That's where we're going to be. The Father is going to give us power. We cannot help but speak the thing that the Spirit is laid on our hearts, that we're convicted on. We can't help but speak it. And just think about that. Just the words that we're giving. We're not marching. We're not creating no bombs. We won't even have no gats with us. And they still going to be scared of us and want to kill us. That's the power of the Father's Spirit at work. Praise the Most High. So we'll continue. We have chapter 27 and then chapter 28. So we have chapter 27, and yeah, there's a lot that go on in chapter 27. But the most important thing for us to see in chapter 27, in my view, is the hours of the death at 9th hour and what leads up to that. And we'll deal with that. And then, of course, what happens right after that, when the bodies of the saints are resurrected. All of that we're going to see when we study chapter 27. May the Most High bless you and keep you. And may he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. And may the Most High lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom, family.